Culling badgers in order to help prevent the spread of tuberculosis in cattle could be making the problem worse.
This is according to a study by the Zoological Society. It says surviving badgers cover more land each month than before the cull began.
This year the cull in Britain is expanding and the number of badgers killed is expected to nearly double. Sky's Becky Johnson reports.
When cows are diagnosed with TB, it can be disastrous for farmers. David Barton has lost over 150 cattle during outbreaks of the disease at his farm in Cirencester in Gloucestershire.
When TB comes in and takes them out, that's the breeding stock gone. Totally devastating, leaves you completely empty. Physically, emotionally, mentally, it affects the entire family. It is absolutely awful.
Bovine TB costs taxpayers £100 million a year. Badgers can spread the infection, and since 2013, badger culling has been carried out in high-risk areas like this one. For the last 3 years, David's farm has been TB-free.
In the areas where culling is taking place, we're seeing a much bigger decline in TB, and that's really all I want to see. I don't mind what tools I use, but they have to have an evidence and scientific base to work.
But researchers who followed the movements of badgers who survive culls say culling could instead be spreading TB. The badgers explored new areas when animals from neighbouring groups were killed, covering almost 2/3 more land than before the cull. The scientists from the Zoological Society of London have been working to understand whether vaccinating badgers against TB could work as a non-lethal alternative to culling.
We have a study evaluating the role of badger vaccination. Badger vaccination, in my opinion, is a much more promising approach because while culling increases the proportion of badgers with TB, vaccination should reduce it.
Since badger culling began, there's been fierce opposition from protesters. This year, the programme has been extended to 11 new areas, prompting fears badgers will be virtually wiped out in some parts of the UK.
I don't think there's any good evidence to show that badger culling on the scale the government has been undertaking since 2013 is having any impact at all. By the end of this year, they'll probably kill over 130,000 badgers, spent £70 million killing them. They've only tested about 900 for the disease, of which 85% were disease-free, so the vast majority of these animals don't have TB, so you could kill them all, it will make no difference.
It's not known how much it would cost to vaccinate enough badgers or who would pay for it, but it could be an alternative to killing so many animals if it does prove to be effective in preventing the spread of TB to cattle. Becky Johnson, Sky News, Gloucestershire.